So having attended HBCU, can you tell us a little bit about how that molded you into your profession?
Well, in terms of my profession, I've always known that I wanted to be in communications, but I never dreamed that I would be at an HBCU. And then a family friend by the name of Harold Funny Kit took me down to Winston-Salem State for a tryout with Clarence Big House Games. And I knew he was a living legend, and he played a significant role in integrating and elevating the sport of college basketball. So he was a legend. And I went down there and I lucked up. I don't know. I guess it was destiny or whatever. I went out to try out for the team. I stepped on the basketball court, and I wouldn't shoot, even though I was a shooter. And he called the timeout, and he said, "What the hell are you doing down here?" I said, "What are you talking about?" He said, "They said you were a shooter. Shoot the damn ball." And I said, "Okay." And I hit 17 straight three-pointers. And he signed me to a scholarship on the spot. And lo and behold, I was at an HBCU. So I was thinking I went there to play basketball, and it was a college. And then, you realize the history associated with HBCUs, what it's done for us in the African American community, what it means to come from it, what you need to do to represent an HBCU, and all of those things were things that he instilled in me in my time there. So, what I thought was just going to be some regular old college experience where I'd get my degree and I'd be happy with it, it drastically altered my life, and obviously for the better.
And how much of a big role does confidence have, especially being a minority in this profession? You're very outspoken. People think you're very controversial, but you've always stayed authentic and true to yourself. So can you speak a little bit about having that confidence as a minority person in this field?
Well, usually when I'm giving speeches throughout the country, I always use this line: "I'm brilliant because I know I'm not. I listen to those who are, and I learn from them and steal knowledge from them." And so as a result, that's where my confidence comes from. My willingness to listen, to learn, to educate myself, to be as informed as I possibly can be, and then couple that with the principles that come associated with journalism, the humanity that comes along with fairness, and the courage to do what's right. And when I think about my life and my career and what I try to be about and what I try to stand for, as long as I hold on to those principles, I'm not worried about anything, because I know that if I'm wrong, it wasn't intentional, it wasn't for a lack of effort, and it wasn't for my unwillingness to be fair. But more importantly, I know I'm going to be right a hell of a lot more times than I'm going to be wrong, because I know I'm going to put forth the work and the due diligence to be all I can be and to be the very, very best at what I do. If I'm not going to achieve it, I'm certainly going to strive for it. And so when you have that kind of attitude, and you know that you have HBCU or a background in HBCU on your shoulders, where people are looking to you to set a shining example of the potential that can emanate from an HBCU student and an HBCU grad. And then when you couple all of that with the fact that a living legend who played such a pivotal role in uplifting the African American community, not just in the sport of college basketball, but throughout this nation, in Clarence Big House Gaines, you have a responsibility to strive to be all you can be and to be the best that you can be, because you're not just doing it for yourself. You're doing it for the people who paved the way for you, and you're doing it to set a path for those who follow, just like was done for you. And when you have that approach when you have that and harbor that approach to everything, you know how to take things seriously. And that's what I try to do, and that's where my confidence comes from.
And I myself am a graduate of Morgan State University, and I know the type of focus it takes to actually excel in this industry and have the longevity that you do. But what advice would you give to those students who are actually going to go to an HBCU and trying to pursue a profession like yours or in this industry as a whole?
Well, when I think HBCU, obviously you see a little bit of integration that has taken place. So my statement specifically aimed towards those from the African American community is obviously to be on your grind, to be ready to work, to understand that no excuses are needed, because no excuses are going to be accepted. No one in the world feels they owe you anything. And you have to have the mindset that if I want something, I have to go out and get it. There's going to be trials and tribulations. There's going to be people that try to knock you down. There's going to be people that try to convince you that you can't be what you're aspiring to be. But if you prepare yourself to the best of your ability, then you're going to likely put yourself in a position where you're going to receive the opportunity and the chance to make the most of those things that are presented to you and ultimately achieve what you aspire to achieve. And so you have to understand that. And you have to be ready to put in the work and not worry about shortcuts. Don't want any shortcuts. You shouldn't want it. You should be about the business of doing what's necessary and be willing to make whatever sacrifices necessary to achieve what you need to achieve.
And one more question, please. Myself as a woman, you have four older sisters, and I would just like to know more or less how did that help shape you, and what could you say in regards to your profession and helping another woman in this industry?
Well, it helped me immensely because, and I say this affectionately because I love my sisters. They were very cruel. They were very cruel to me. They beat me up emotionally all the time, and it's interesting. I would tell you, they played arguably the most pivotal role. Because when you grow up with four older sisters, you're going to hear every insult under the sun. And if you can take it, somebody on the outside insulting you means absolutely nothing to you because you're accustomed to it. So there's nothing that anyone has said to me or has said about me that one of my four sisters has not told me over the course of my life. And ultimately, you develop thick skin and you're able to ward all of that stuff off. And that's what you got to be about because people are going to try to stop you. You just can't let them.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.